You mentioned Overture has great tools for measuring the effectiveness of advertising, and there are a number of inroads being made by companies like Atlas DMT, and also DoubleClick have a solution that's going to allow advertisers to look holistically at their advertising campaigns rather than using a lot of different methodologies. Do you think that that's going to help you out, and what are you doing to work with those organisations to maximise the effectiveness of measurement tools?
I think you find that Yahoo's when it comes to engaging with other partners is a good company to work with, where we wherever possible work with industry bodies. I think you've seen from Yahoo a lot of leadership locally about creating and engaging with those sorts of bodies. So when it comes to things like measurement and those sorts of things, Yahoo's a willing partner to try and grow the market. The position in search at this point in time is that there's such a great opportunity that we don't look at this as at a competitive point trying to beat the other person who may be selling performance-based advertising. If we can all work to grow the market, I think every business that's in search or in performance-based advertising will benefit. We're just scratching the surface. If you go and talk with SMEs and ask them about their advertising challenges and their advertising satisfaction, you'll see a lot of disgruntled people, a lot of disgruntled SMEs. If you go and talk to a bunch that have started to do performance-based advertising, you'll see a tremendous amount of happy advertisers, people who are actively communicating to their peers and friends that performance-based advertising, search-based advertising is something that they're very happy with the performance of. So I think we're at an influx point possibly with that.
They're probably a more technologically savvy audience, the ones that are happy with the performance-based advertising, because it is still quite labour intensive to measure the effectiveness of your advertising over multiple websites. Are you finding that there's a difference in the SME market that you're attracting from the regular SME market? Are you finding that they're more technologically capable, savvy?
I think you're right to say that the first wave of small business advertisers in search are the ones that may be a little bit more technically advanced than the rest. In all honesty, the vast majority of small businesses don't have a website, so search-based advertising really hasn't been a solution for them. And in part that's why there's the strategy of local search. It now allows a small business without a website to basically get in the performance-based advertising game. Those businesses, those small businesses particularly that have done search advertising, are ahead of the curve. There's such a strong future though in terms of ease of use, campaign management, those sorts of stuff. The tools that Overture have at this point in time are fantastic. They're obviously in constant evolution and development, and I think you'll see a lot of exciting stuff from them in time in terms of allowing advertisers to better manage their campaigns as well.
Do you think you're going to find that Yahoo and Overture rather, have a different competitive set that you're existing in, that you're going to be perhaps attracting a younger audience?
It's true to say that Yahoo's business in Australia and Overture's business in Australia are different. We have very clearly different goals. Overture's about being a good partner for people like Yahoo and others. Yahoo's a great destination, and obviously we're trying to build quality products and build our audience, and then obviously monetize that audience. So there's very different focuses in terms of how the business are perceived and work. In terms of the audience itself, the younger audience, no, I don't think it's true to say that Yahoo's particularly focused on a younger audience, or that's an audience that we're going after in the absence of any other. We're a major player in search and a major player in the internet in Australia and around the world. So when you look at our audiences, you start to see that when people are starting to get online, before their teens, and as they get older, as their audience gets older and older, Yahoo's got a fairly representative coverage across the board.
How is your audience different to 9MSN's? They've seen some phenomenal growth over the last 18 months, 24 months, whereas Yahoo's audience just seems to have stagnated a little. Do you think that they've picked up share from an audience that you're not reaching, or why do you think that they've been able to grow? Despite a poor search product and despite even some really heavy content on their site?
Sure. My core area of expertise is search, so yeah. I wouldn't really be in the best position to comment about what Nine's doing in terms of their overall reach and how they may or may not have grown it. In terms of
search, though?
In terms of search, as as a competitor, you'll need to ask them about what they're doing in terms of their local business. What we see is that, that's a strong network, like Yahoo's a strong network, and they're picking up, I suppose, their fair share of the search audience. I think you can see globally that search is very important for a lot of people, Yahoo included, and we're powering our profits and our research and development efforts into search to create better consumer solutions. In terms of what Nine's doing on that front, I don't know.
Yahoo was a leader in the market in creating things like the awards, where you brought together the major publishers in the Australian market to celebrate great creativity in the market. When you talk about the development of search being something that needs to happen on an industry level, what steps is Yahoo taking to drive the importance of search amongst advertisers in the Australian market?
Yeah, it's a good question. In terms of industry bodies and those sorts of things, specifically to search, they don't exist in any great sense in Australia at this point in time, and I actually generally think there is an opportunity for that. Search has been around a long time, but it's gone through a renaissance recently because of the benefits the things like Overture provide in terms of the monetisation and the performance advertising for small businesses and large businesses. So I think there's an opportunity at this point in time. I'd say those bodies don't exist. We do work with and communicate with other industry bodies and search players in this marketplace. The specific formulation of a industry body on search doesn't exist at this point in time, but I'd hope to see that it would in the near term.
Yeah, it'd be good to see
it would.
Yahoo and Google in the same room together.
Well,
if
you've seen us around a lot, speaking engagements and working with the market, I think you see that the major players in search in Australia have a mature approach in terms of how they need to engage with the market, and I think it's fair to say that we all agree that working together and growing the market is the real opportunity for all of our businesses.
30% of the online advertising market, do you think that's what search will continue to comprise? Going
forward, I think you see that the growth in paid search is outstripping the growth in graphic advertising online. Locally, I can talk in some part for the local sales team. When I talk about search being on fire, those guys are on fire as well. The increase in graphic advertising that's appearing on Yahoo has been outstanding. So they're growing very nicely. It just so happens that the growth out of search, or paid search particularly, is outpacing them a little bit. Where that will end up in time, I don't think it's anyone can really pick at this point. We're seeing obviously advertisers on both sides being very happy and satisfied with the outcomes, so they're both growing nicely, I'd argue.
From a display perspective, is there at all a possibility that your local search will cannibalise your global search, if you will, for want of a better term?
No, I don't think so. I think what will pan out in time is that there will be a first choice for a lot of advertisers. So if you're a business without a website, local search is a no-brainer, right? Having a free listing, having a listing that you can enrich, having some performance-based advertising without the requirements of a website is fantastic. Local search is a winner. When it comes to a lot of businesses that have a website and want to draw people to transact at that website or to be informed via that website, then main search and the monetisation or the advertising opportunities there, I think are a winner for them as well. So quite different audiences: small businesses for local search, small businesses, and anyone with a website that wants an audience for main search.
Are there display branding opportunities in local search?
Not at this point in time, and there aren't as well in main search. What we've seen, and a la Overture, is there's a tremendous benefit for having paid search listings, the editorial quality that comes with it, the relevance for the consumer that comes with it, the performance for the advertiser that are associated, means that in the search environment, search listings or paid search listings are the way forward. Will that change in time? It may do, and we'll obviously always monitor. So I'll never say never for graphic advertising and local search, but it's absolutely not part of the plan at this point in time.
From a resourcing perspective, does local take up a lot more time and bodies than global search?
It does.